So I just want to say I'm really sorry if I overwhelmed you in the last video. I went through quite a lot of information very, very quickly. But look, let's actually go through some examples and hopefully it will make things a little bit clearer. So this is in your workbook. So you can get your workbook out and you can follow along. And there's a blank one for you to fill out for you. So as an example, on the left-hand side, I've put a monthly freedom budget number. So that's the number that we want to meet to to fund our ideal lifestyle. So I've just put $5,000 a month as just an example number there. Okay. Then I've put the business model. So we're doing digital sales here for the beginning. And then I've put your price point stroke average income. So with blogging, as an example, I know that a reasonable average, depending on the niche, because some niche might get $10, some niches might get $50 or $60, but roughly you can get $25 per 1,000 views on an average blog, okay? I've then assumed that the profit margin is around 80%. So that gives you costs of 20%, which I think is pretty reasonable for a blog because, you know, you're talking about hosting and some software and all the rest of it. But the rest of it, those costs might go up if you decide to outsource and get writers and things like that, which I highly recommend you do as you grow. And so those costs might get down to 60% or 70%. But right now, let's stick up at 80%. Let's say you're doing this all yourself and totally bootstrapping. So in order to generate $5,000 a month, you need 250,000 views. Okay, that's $25 per 1,000 views. So $5,000 divided by 25 is 250,000 views. So you need to build your blog to 250,000 views and you'll start generating $5,000 based on those numbers. So that's kind of how it works, and you can go through the others. So I'll just run through them really quickly. So ebook sales, if you want to make $5,000 and you're pricing your ebook at $25 and your profit margin is 80%, then you need 250 sales per month. Okay, so that's 250 times 25, 80% of that is $5,000. I just had to stop and check my maths then. Same with a video course. Let's say you're selling a video course for $297. Then to generate $5,000, you'd need to do 21 sales per month. So that is 297 times 21 sales. And then if you times that by 80%, that gives you $5,000. And the same with affiliate sales. Let's say you can make $50 per 1,000 views. That's a very rough, pulled out of the sky number, that, because it depends on the affiliate programs that you are promoting and how much you're going to earn as an affiliate. But based on a lot of stuff I've seen, that is a reasonable number. So you'd need 125,000 views per month to generate $5,000. I hope that all makes sense. I've actually got the calculation in a couple of slides' time. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to give you a hot tip on how to use ChatGPT if you don't like maths. So here is roughly the same calculations with a service business model. So you've got coaching, you'd need to charge $100 an hour. Sorry, if you're charging $100 an hour, you'd need 62.5 hours. If you're a digital marketing agency at $997 a month, average retainer, you'd need 8 clients. As a SaaS business at $97 a month, membership fee, you need 86 members a month. And if you're a freelancer charging $30 an hour, you need 185 hours a month. And look at the different profit margins I've put in there. For a coaching, I've put 80%, but for digital marketing and SaaS business, I've put 60% because you've got quite a bit more costs. And for a freelancer, you should have almost no costs, so 90% or more. And then I've done the same for physical products. So again, these are very rough numbers. It so depends on the product model that you choose. For instance, just on Etsy alone, you could go print on demand, which means your profit margin is probably going to be a lot lower. You could go digital printables, which means your profit margin is higher. You could go private label or craft things where you're making them at home. Again, your profit margin is likely to be a bit higher. So again, I've just put in very, very rough calculations there. You need to do your own due diligence and work out what products actually cost you to get to the point where you're selling them. But again, same calculations. If you've got a $10 product and it's 60% profit margin, you need 833 sales. The same with your own products on Shopify. You could go print on demand. You might be doing drop shipping. You might be doing private label. There's a number of ways to do it. So please take these profit margins with a bit of a pinch of salt. depending on the type of product you put out there. Amazon FBA is based on the private label model, so that 25% is actually not far off the mark. In fact, you're doing well to get 25%. You could really do anything between about 15% to 30%, depending on how much it costs you to actually manufacture and ship the product. So that all depends on weight and materials and all that sort of stuff. But at a 25% profit margin and a $20 product, you're going to need 1,000 sales a month. And then when it gets to Redbubble, the cost of the product is wrapped up in how Redbubble works. So you only get 20% of a $20 product. So because Redbubble is print on demand, that covers all your print on demand costs. So that $4 per product is yours. That's why the profit margin is higher, because really the only costs you then need to worry about are your design costs or your promotion or marketing costs to sell your products, okay? But even at an 80% profit margin, because you only get 20% of a product, that's a really low amount of money, so you're going to need a lot of sales, obviously, to get to your monthly freedom budget number. Woo! Okay, so I reckon you've tuned out. I don't blame you. This is the calculation. So basically it is the profit number divided by the sale number times the profit margin. If you don't like maths at all, and all of this seems way too complex, just tell ChatGPT your freedom number. So whether it's 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, put it in there. Tell them what you think roughly your sale price is going to be and what you think your profit margin might be, and let it do the rest. Just tell it, work that out and tell me how many sales I need to make to generate my 5 grand a month or my 10 grand a month, and ChatGPT will do the rest of it for you. All right. So your action steps for this module are to wake up, get re-engaged, get a coffee, put the calculator away, get ChatGPT out, create some product ideas for your business, perform some rough profit calculations, and start to determine your sales targets. And this is where it all starts to get real and really exciting, right? Because let's say you started this course and you kind of thought to yourself, look, the people I want to work with and talk to are 50 plus menopausal women. And then as you've gone through and looked at the various business models, you've thought to yourself, well, I wouldn't mind selling a gratitude journal for menopausal women on Etsy. And then as you go through, you think to yourself, right, okay, so I know that my freedom budget is $5,000 a month. I've looked on Etsy, I can sell my gratitude journal for $20. So therefore I need to sell X amount of journals in order to make my $5,000 a month. But to sell X amount of journals, I probably need this amount of engaged people on my email list or following me on social media. So I'm going to go and start a TikTok account because I think that lends itself really well to journals, doesn't lend itself to menopausal women. So maybe Instagram. I'm going to go and start doing reels on Instagram. I'm going to talk specifically about the menopause. I'm going to do short form content. I'm going to create a really nice newsletter. And I reckon I can convert 5% of people that come through my funnel into a book, into buying a gratitude journal on Etsy. And I know I need to sell, I can't remember what the calculation was, but let's say it's 100 a month. So I know I need to go and sell 100 journals a month on Etsy to reach my freedom number. I can convert 5% of my audience into sales. So I need to be pulling 2,000 people into my funnel every month so I can convert 5% of them into 100 sales a month, which gives me my financial freedom number. How much more specific is that than I want to make money online? And that is the goal here. That was the goal with this course, to try and get you to a point where you've got some serious clarity on exactly what it is you need to do. All right, so I hope that's been helpful. What we're going to do in the next video is we're going to go through the various business models and we're going to look at your next best steps. So if you're just getting started out and you kind of want to know, you're trying to obliterate that overwhelm, and you just need to know the next 2 or 3 steps you need to take to start to grow that particular business model, that's what we're doing in the next module. I'll see you on the next video.